My prediction for the Indianapolis Colts is based on the assumption that Gardner Minshew is going to be their starting quarterback for most of the year. If their rookie number 4 overall pick, Anthony Richardson, plays, I feel like anything could happen. I mean, he is really, really talented, and he's so talented that he can make a lot of big plays. He can run the zone read at a high level. I think with zone reads and simple RPOs, maybe a limited offense would actually do better than Gardner Minshew running the Colts offense. But the problem is this dilemma. I think if you play Anthony Richardson before he's ready, you risk him developing. You risk him getting, I think, the opportunity of him watching Gardner Minshew run a more complicated system, watching Minshew make mistakes, good or bad, watching all the film, learning from that, sitting behind him for a while is a really important process that could allow Anthony Richardson to grow a lot as a player and as a quarterback. But I also want to acknowledge their owner, Jim Irsay, is a guy that he ran Carson Wentz out of town. He's a very kind of interesting personality who, if the Colts are struggling to win, he could say, hey, we spent a lot of capital on this guy. We got to go draft Anthony Richardson. He's a number 4 overall pick. I've watched him on YouTube at Florida doing crazy stuff. I've watched his highlights. I've watched him in practice. Like, why are we not playing Anthony Richardson? And that could put Anthony Richardson on the field before he's ready to run a more complicated system. I think you sacrifice his development, but it might actually be a better, more effective offense in a weird way. Like his ability to run the football, run the zone read, it might be more simple throwing the football, but he can do stuff Gardner Minshew simply cannot do, and that might throw my predictions completely out of whack. Now, a big problem for Indy will be that we have no idea who their running back is going to be. Their new head coach, Shane Steichen, is great when it comes to run play design. However, their running back, Jonathan Taylor, is likely to never play for the Colts ever again. I would not blame him at all if he said, "The hell with you guys, I'm never coming back. I don't like you at all." That leaves the Colts with, well, Zach Moss, who's injured and is probably going to come back early in the year, but we'll see. He broke his arm. It is worth noting, I think the system, I really feel good about Anthony Richardson, their draft pick. He's really talented. I think long-term, he fits the offensive system that Shane Steichen's going to run in Indy, their new head coach. I mean, he came over from Philadelphia, was their offensive coordinator last year. If Shane Steichen's offense looks anything like what they did with Jalen Hurts in Philly last year, they got a guy who is bigger, a better runner, and got a bigger arm than Jalen Hurts doing a lot of the same stuff. I mean, there's a lot of potential long-term in Indy. And I love Gardner Minshew, the current starting quarterback, we think, in Indianapolis. But he's babysitting the offense until Anthony Richardson is ready. But again, back to what I was saying, we've got questions at the running back spot. I think their best offensive weapon in Indy is their receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. He's a big physical receiver, can go get jump balls. He's awesome to watch. I'll never forget the catch he had against Utah in college. The best player on defense in Indy is DeForest Buckner up front on their defensive line. By the way, their 2021 first-round pick, Kwity Paye, defensive end, got hurt last year. He's going into year 3. Maybe Kwity Paye takes a big step forward and provides a really big boost to their pass rush. I'm not sure. We will see. Unfortunately for the Colts, in my opinion, the Colts are really good in places that simply don't matter very much. They're great at guard, linebacker, defensive tackle. It's a passing league. I'm worried about their passing game in general. We don't know who their quarterback is really going to be. Anthony Richardson, if he does play, isn't going to be really, really prepared to do a lot of complicated stuff. He's got a huge arm, but he's got to develop. Gardner Minshew is physically really limited. I don't love the receiving core in Indy. I'm worried about their secondary as well. Corner Kenny Moore can only do so much. I like their awesome second-year safety, Rodney Thomas, but they're going to have 2 rookies in the rotation at corner. They're going to have Juju Brents, a second-round pick, and Darius Rush, a fifth-round pick. That combination of a pass rush in Indy that hasn't been great getting after opposing quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are pretty comfortable when you play Indianapolis in the last couple of years. Paired with the fact they've got unproven corners, that's really scary. Look at the look at the schedule Indy plays this year. They play Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence twice. I think they're going to get eaten alive. The Ravens are going to have a really good passing game, I believe, with Lamar Jackson. They invested. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got new receivers. Lamar Jackson's going to be better throwing the football, in my opinion. Playing the Rams and Cooper Kupp. You're playing Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and George Pickens. I am really worried about the Colts' ability to stop other teams throwing the football. I don't think they're going to be able to stop other teams throwing the football. Again, it's a passing league, and when you're playing good receivers and great passing teams with really good offensive lines, that's a disaster recipe for the Indianapolis Colts this year. It makes me cringe. Now, I have the Colts going 4-13 this year. I don't want to hate on them. All that being said, I like their future. I feel good about what's going on. I'm curious how their linebacker Shaq Leonard's going to return. He got hurt last year, only played in 3 games. I'm really excited about their second-year left tackle, Bernard Raymond. He's a guy who, was really great last year towards the end of the year. And the Colts general manager, Chris Ballard, is fantastic at drafting offensive linemen. There's a guy, Josh Downs, a third-round receiver, going to be a rookie this year out of North Carolina. He's a speedy little slot guy. He's got great hands. He's currently behind Alec Pierce and Isaiah McKenzie on the depth chart right now. I wonder if Josh Downs can become an impact player. I mean, him paired with Michael Pittman Jr., that's an idea I like. But the schedule makes me nervous. They're really good at positions that just aren't important in a passing league, in my opinion. If you're going to be weak at those positions, you can get away with being weak at linebacker. They're great at linebacker. Congratulations. How much is that going to help you win football games? I'm not sure. So again, I've got Indy going 4-13. I love their future. I feel great about Anthony Richardson. They drafted the right guy, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that they got Anthony Richardson playing for Shane Steichen is unbelievable. That's a recipe for success for years to come. I really like where the Colts are headed. I feel better about Anthony Richardson than I do about C.J. Stroud. But this year, he's likely not going to be ready to play at a high level. And I think it's going to be a year of rebuilding with a new coach, quite frankly. I have the Colts going 4-13. I anticipate a lot of anger coming from Colts fans. I don't mean it to be an offensive thing. I don't mean I'm not trying to attack you guys. And I acknowledge that, hey, maybe Anthony Richardson puts a wrench in all that. And he's a wild card that could play at a high level, and you never know. But right now, I'm not real confident in the Colts. I think they've got a lot of room to grow and a lot of things to figure out on their offense and who's their running back, what's going on there. Their secondary concerns me. Their pass rush concerns me. It is worth noting they've got a second-year tight end, Jelani Woods, third-round pick last year, guy who's nowhere near the top of the depth chart right now, but he's an awesome tight end that he's talented. Jelani Woods, I'm curious what he can do. He had 3 touchdowns last year as a rookie. He's 6'7". He's got good hands. I don't know how Shane Steichen wants to use him. I'm not sure if they want to use him, but I think there's a lot of potential there with Jelani Woods. I don't mean to bash on the Colts, but I hope Colts fans can agree. Like, your football team is not ready to win a lot of games this year. I think they're going to go 4-13. Maybe they exceed that expectation and go, 6-11. And woo! Did you really, you know what I mean? Like, if they exceed the expectations of 4-13, they're right in that mix. I mean, I just don't see a lot of wins for the Colts this year. I would like to be proven wrong, but the running back thing really concerns me. This is an offense that's going to run the football heavily, and we don't know who their running back is going to be. Okay. I don't know why you're not just going to pay Jonathan Taylor, make him happy, get him back on the field. I mean, I think that their offense is really built around running the football, and not knowing who your running back is, that's a problem. But we'll see what's going to happen in Indy. I don't feel great about their year, but I feel great about their future.